What's going on, everybody? My name is Vin Musico, and I am the founder and owner of Element Fitness, an online coaching business that specializes in wedding weight loss programs for people that want to look great and feel great for their big day. Today, I'm going to talk to you about what stretches I implemented into my daily routine that have helped alleviate years' worth of lower back pain. So like always, let's get after it. If you're watching this video, I'm assuming that you've been dealing with some lower back pain or back pain in general. I dealt with lower back pain throughout my college career, college lacrosse, and I know firsthand how difficult dealing with back pain can be. It impacts your sleep, it impacts your activity level. It's extremely painful. You have good days and bad days on and off. If you throw your back out, you could be bedridden for days. And I understand that it could be extremely annoying. These are the stretches that I've implemented into my daily routine that have completely alleviated that back pain. I really am not dealing with any back pain anymore. I can do activities that I normally couldn't do. I can squat again, I can deadlift, I could run for long periods of time. And a lot of those things were things that would irritate my lower back. These stretches have absolutely alleviated that. I'm sleeping better, I'm more active. And these are the activities that I highly recommend you try out and implement into your daily routine. I think that they could definitely help. So let's get after it. So before I jump into this, I just want to say that most of these stretches are going to be lower back targeted and also targeting the hips. If you don't know, the hips actually can be a strong indicator of why you're dealing with pain. It's usually a source of why you're dealing with lower back pain. So I have a lot of hip mobility stretches, hip stretches. I have a ton of different lower back stretches that I like to do, and just some more general back stretches as well that are going to help loosen me up before my workouts, things like that. So let's get right into it. So for the first two stretches, you're going to want to grab a roller. Most generic gyms are going to have one, but if you don't have one and you work out at home, grab one off Amazon. They're usually super cheap. First, we're just going to do a general rollout of the back. We're going to get it up by the shoulder blades. We're going to get mid and lower back, and we're just going to loosen up the muscles. I usually start at the upper back. I'll start up by my shoulder blades, up on my traps, and I'll get that loosened up, and then I'll start working my way down with the roller. You can also get your lats. Roll out your lats, get them loosened up. Then you can switch sides. So next is going to be an upper back and lat stretch. So you're going to want to get up on your knee. You're going to take one of the foam rollers, and what you're going to do is you're going to put one arm down, the closest to the foam roller, and the other arm is going to come across your body, and you're going to stretch across, and it's really going to stretch out that opposite side lat. So once you do like 10 full stretches, you're just going to swap sides, opposite side, opposite arm, same ordeal. You do the same number on the other side. So just an FYI, most of the workouts you're going to do are going to be on the ground. If you have a mat, that's great. If you have a carpet in your house, you can do that as well. Most gyms might have turf, things like that. You can do it on. I also have an extra mat here, so it's a little bit more comfortable because this is not too thick. I'll do most of my stretches on here. So let's pop this open. So now that we rolled out, we have the mat out, I'm going to start doing my hip mobility stretches. These are going to start helping loosen up my lower body and then into my lower back. And then I'll start targeting my lower back with some more specific lower back stretches. So this first hip mobility movement that I'm going to do is sort of like a gate opener. You're going to open up the leg, and then you're going to come back and reverse it and go the opposite way. People might call them like the fire hydrants. It's like similar to a dog when they lift their leg up to pee on a fire hydrant, something like that. So let's get into it. So the next movement I'm going to do is very similar to a dead bug, except you're going to be on all fours. You're going to lift the opposite arm and then the opposite leg and really squeeze that upper glute. So this next movement is called a cat-cow. You can stay in all fours. And what you want to do is you want to stick your belly button to the ground, and then you want to suck it up and try to stick it to the sky. And I'll show you what that looks like. This next movement is called a child pose. We're going to stretch out that lower back. We're going to shift side to side and get a full stretch in the lower back and the lats. And I'll show you what that looks like. So this next movement is going to be a little bit of your core, your lower back, and your hamstrings. It is a high plank to a downward dog. We'll probably do around 10 of these. So now one of my favorite hip mobility movements is called the 90-90 switch. And where it gets that name from is because you're going to sit in a position where both of your legs are in a 90-degree angle. And from here, you're going to swap to the other side and go 90-90 the other way. So you're going to do about 10 of these on each side. This next movement is also in that same position as the 90-90. You're going to sit in that 90-90 position. And what you're going to do from here is you're going to raise the leg that's pointing away from you slightly off the ground. You just want to raise your foot off the ground, and you're going to feel a nice little stretch in that right hip. You're going to want to try to sit up. You're going to face the opposite way, and that leg that's facing away from you, you just want to get that foot off the ground just a little bit, just like an inch or two. If you can go higher, then that's great, but you're going to feel a nice little stretch right in here. Now, if you want to challenge yourself a little bit in this 90-90 position, you can try to lift that leg up off the ground, and you can bring heel to heel and then back to that same 90-90 position. And to get even more of an internal stretch, you can also tap your knee to the ground while keeping that leg off the ground, or that foot off the ground, I mean. And you're just going to go back and you're going to go knee to heel to heel, knee to ground, back and forth. And you can do about 10 of these both ways, and that'll help you even get more range of motion and work on that internal rotation. So this next stretch, I believe, is called the pigeon pose. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to stick one leg back, and the other leg you're going to want to almost sit with your belly button to your quad. So from here, you can drop down to your elbows. You can bring your stomach to your quad, and you can get a real nice stretch on the side with your leg up to your chest. You could also sit down to your butt and then raise it back up. And you can just kind of rock back and forth. That's going to help stretch out that hip a little bit even more and work on that glute as well. And then from here, you could also sit up, and you'll feel a nice stretch on the opposite side of your body, more towards the front of your hip. And sit back down, do a little bit more rocking, work on that hip and glute, and really loosen that up. So this next movement is a glute bridge, and then we're going to roll over and do a Superman stretch. These workouts are going to help strengthen your lower back and your glutes and help prep them for future activity. This next movement is called a T-spine rotation. It's really going to help get that rotation in your mid-back and loosen up. So you're going to want to lay on your side. You're going to have both arms out, and you're going to have your knees stacked on top of each other with a little slight bend. And what you're going to do is you're going to start here, and with your other arm, you're going to open up across, and you're going to follow your eyes with the other arm and see it all the way down to the ground on the other side. This next movement is called a shin box stretch. So similar to that 90-90 position we had, we're just going to close our legs in. You're going to bring your heel near your crotch and your other heel back a little bit further, almost a little bit more parallel to your body. So what we're going to do from here is we're going to press ourselves off of the ground and thrust our hips forward. It's going to open the hips and alleviate that lower back. And we're going to sit onto our shin on the side with the leg coming in towards you. So we'd stand here and press up. You're going to open the hip, thrust forward. So you're going to feel a nice stretch in the front of the hip that's facing away from you. And you're going to feel it a little bit more on the back and towards your glute on the opposite side. You can do about 5 or 10 on each side here as well. So this next stretch is going to be more front and quad centric. If you have a wall, a chair, Bosu ball, whatever it is, you're going to want to put that behind you, and you're going to want to stick one of your legs up on it. So if you have a wall, you just go up against the wall and get tight to it. You want to try to get as tight to it as possible with your knee on the ground. And the opposite leg is going to come up here. And what you're going to want to do is you're just going to lean back just slightly, and you'll feel a nice pull and stretch in the quad that'll probably start around the hip and shoot down. And you can just sit there, hold it for a few seconds, stand back straight up, and then sit back again, get a nice stretch. And then the opposite way, you can also go further out from the wall with the opposite leg, and you can lean forward, and you'll get a nice pull in the quad there as well, more towards the hip in this area. And you do the same thing here. You can rock back and forth. You can go close to the wall for a few seconds, and then come out and go further away from the wall. You get a nice stretch that way, and then you can switch sides. This stretch isn't focused directly on your hips or your back, but I do find that when my lower body is tight, it's usually impacting my lower back because my lower back is compensating. So I like to get a nice stretch in my quads, my hamstrings, and my hips as well. Another good movement, I believe, is called the scorpion. It's like the opposite of what a downward dog would be. So you would want to lay your body onto the ground and stick your back up, and I'll show you what that looks like. Just going to press up. When you're up top, you could also get a nice neck stretch, neck roll, which I do like to do. These movements and stretches are really going to help loosen areas of the body that you don't normally use, strengthen muscles that you don't normally use. And I really hope that if you implement them, you can find some relief, get some better sleep, get some better activity, and start living the life that you deserve. Like always, let's get after it.